March 13th, 1919. New Orleans, Louisiana. Every newspaper in the city prints the same letter that morning. It is addressed from hell. The author calls himself a demon, an ancient spirit. He says he has roamed the earth since before the first man walked it. He says he has killed before in New Orleans. He says he will kill again, but then he makes a promise. On the night of Tuesday, March 18th, he will pass over the city. Any home where jazz music is playing will be spared. Any home that is silent, he will enter, and someone will die. That Tuesday night, every jazz club in New Orleans was packed beyond capacity. Bands played until dawn. Entire families crowded into ballrooms and parlors and each other's living rooms. Anywhere music was being made. Not a single person was killed that night, but the Axeman of New Orleans had already killed at least 6 people, and he was not done. New Orleans in 1918 was a city of tight Italian immigrant communities. Families ran small grocery stores throughout the city. They lived in the back rooms. They knew their neighbors. They kept to themselves. And someone was killing them in their sleep. May 23rd, 1918. Joseph Maggio and his wife Catherine are found in their bedroom, attacked with an axe. Joseph is dead. Catherine dies shortly after. The Maggios ran a grocery on Upperline Street. A wooden panel had been chiseled out of the rear door to gain entry. There are no force locks, no broken windows, just that one neat, deliberate panel removed from the door. Police found a straight razor near the scene, wiped clean of blood, and on the pavement outside, someone had chalked a strange message. Mrs. Maggio is going to sit up tonight, just like Mrs. Tony. Nobody knew what it meant. Nobody knew who Mrs. Tony was. The message was never explained. Then the attacks kept coming. June 28th. Louis Bessumer and his companion are attacked with an axe in their grocery. She dies 2 months later. August 5th. A woman 8 months pregnant is attacked. She survives and later gives birth to a healthy baby. March 1st, 1919. Charles Cortimiglia, his wife Rosie, and their 2-year-old daughter Mary are all attacked. Charles and Rosie survive. Little Mary does not. The city was terrified. Every night, people barricaded their doors, slept with weapons next to their beds, watched their back rooms for shadows. Nobody knew who the Axeman was. Nobody knew when he would strike next. And then, on March 13th, 1919, the newspapers received the letter. It was addressed from hell. The author claimed to be a demon, ancient and invisible. He claimed the attacks were his work. He claimed he would continue. But the most chilling part was what came next. He wrote that on Tuesday, March 18th, he would pass over New Orleans like an angel of death. Any home playing jazz would be spared. Any home that was silent was not safe. Newspapers across the country picked up the story. Jazz bands wrote songs about the Axeman overnight. A composition called The Mysterious Axeman's Jazz became a genuine hit. On the night of March 18th, New Orleans played music like its life depended on it. Because it did. Every club, every ballroom, every parlor, windows thrown open so the music could reach the street. People who did not own instruments rented them. Families who had never once listened to jazz in their lives sat together and listened to jazz. Nobody was killed. Whether the Axeman kept his word or simply chose not to strike that particular night, nobody will ever know. The attacks continued after the letter. August 10th, 1919. A man is attacked with an axe in his grocery store. He survives. September 3rd. A woman is found unconscious with head wounds and several teeth knocked out. A bloody axe is found outside her window. October 27th, 1919. Mike Pepitone is killed in his bedroom while his wife and 6 children sleep in the next room. It was the last confirmed attack. And then, as suddenly and completely as the murders began, they stopped. In December 1919, a woman named Esther Pepitone, widow of the Axeman's last victim, shot and killed a man named Joseph Mumford on a street in Los Angeles. She said he was the Axeman. She said she recognized him. She was sentenced to 10 years in prison. She served 3 and was released. Was Joseph Mumford the Axeman? His timeline matched the murders in interesting ways. He had been in prison during periods when attacks stopped. He was released before attacks resumed, but there was no physical evidence linking him to any crime scene. He was never tried. He was never convicted. He died without confessing. Theory 1. Joseph Mumford. The timeline fits. The widow's identification was confident, and after Mumford's death, the attacks stopped for good. But confidence is not evidence, and dead men cannot defend themselves. Theory 2. Multiple killers. Some historians believe the Axeman was more than one person. Not all the attacks fit the same profile. The letter may have been written by someone capitalizing on existing fear rather than the actual killer. Theory 3. Organized crime. A darker theory suggests the Italian mafia was behind at least some of the killings. The victims were almost exclusively Italian grocers. There is speculation that those who refused to pay protection money were targeted. The letter, in this version of events, was a deliberate distraction, a way to make organized murder look like random evil. No evidence has ever proven this definitively. The Axeman of New Orleans was never officially identified. The case was never solved. The letter sits in archives. The victims are buried, and the jazz still plays in the French Quarter every single night. Between 1918 and 1919, at least 6 people were killed in New Orleans by an attacker who entered through chiseled back doors and used axes found inside the homes themselves. There may have been more. Some attacks were never definitively connected. Some may never have been reported. He wrote that he was ancient, invisible, unstoppable. He was never caught. And on a cold Tuesday night in March 1919, an entire city played jazz to survive. Nobody knows his real name. Nobody knows his face. The Axeman of New Orleans is just a letter, a legend, and 6 graves.